Republicans, Democrats, liberal or conservatives, I don't care because we've been played for too long. What if the real story here isn't what was said, but what both sides are quietly choosing not to say? Meanwhile, here's my take, but before then, watch this and watch till the end, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is shameful what the Democrats have done to the Department of Homeland Security. They have now twice in this last year forced people within the department to go without pay for extended periods of time. Republicans have tried repeatedly, not only through the bipartisan appropriations process, to ensure that the department and all the agencies and all the employees and all the functions are funded. We've tried to do it that way. Democrats have blocked it. We've tried to do clean extensions, continuing resolutions that would fund those agencies, and those were also blocked by the Democrats. So the Democrats can't seem to take yes for an answer on anything, and for all what they have done here, for all intents and purposes, is shut down the appropriations process. So Republicans have been forced to do this the hard way, but we did, thankfully, because of the work that we did last summer, have been able to ensure that people at those agencies in that department are being paid. And thankfully for that, and then coupled with that, the intention that we now have to come in behind that and pass a reconciliation bill that would enable those agencies to continue to be funded 3 years into the future. So I'm trying to figure out exactly, as I think about it, what the Democrats got out of all this. Thanks to the work we did last summer in the Working Families Tax Cuts bill, the ICE and CBP agencies are funded. Both people, field staff, but also civilian staff, office staff are all being funded. And thanks to the good work that the President did, some of the other agencies within the department are currently being funded. All of the things that the Democrats made this about, which was supposed to be about reforms to the way that ICE and CBP operate, they got none of that. Zero. And now we're going to fund those agencies for 3 years into the future. The only thing the Democrats got out of this was they now own the issue of open borders and defund law enforcement. Honestly, I don't know what else they walk away from with this other than, again, trying to destroy the appropriations process, which historically has been done in a bipartisan way. But the Republicans are going to stand with our Border Patrol, with our law enforcement agencies, and we're going to ensure that they are funded not only today, but well into the future. And so the budget resolution Senator Graham is preparing, we will have on the floor hopefully as early as next week. We'll provide multiple years of funding for these agencies, and a reconciliation bill, which will follow shortly after, will ensure that that job gets done. So that's where we are in the process, but we're going to move quickly, decisively, and hopefully in a very focused way on ensuring that those important law enforcement agencies, contrary to the Democrats' defund law enforcement efforts, are funded not only today but well into the future.
This statement frames the conflict as a one-sided failure, placing blame squarely on Democrats while presenting Republicans as the only actors trying to keep the system functioning. But what's missing is just as important. There's no acknowledgement of how brinkmanship itself, on both sides, has become a political tool. Government funding crises don't emerge in a vacuum. They are often the result of calculated standoffs where each party bets on public perception. What's avoided here is any admission that Republicans, too, have used shutdown threats or funding leverage in the past to force policy concessions, just as Democrats are accused of doing now. The language around funding law enforcement and open borders simplifies a far more complex debate into emotionally charged talking points. What goes unsaid is the substance of the reforms Democrats were reportedly pushing for: oversight, accountability, or policy changes within agencies like ICE and CBP. At the same time, Democrats often fail to clearly communicate how their proposed reforms would maintain operational effectiveness while addressing humanitarian concerns. Both sides reduce the issue to slogans, avoiding a deeper conversation about how to balance border security with human rights, due process, and long-term immigration strategy. There's also a notable silence around the human cost, not just for government employees missing paychecks, but for migrants, asylum seekers, and border communities caught in the middle. While Republicans emphasize stability and funding, and Democrats emphasize reform, neither side fully confronts the lived realities of families navigating a broken immigration system. The debate becomes institutional rather than human. If humanity were centered, the conversation might shift toward practical bipartisan solutions, modernizing the immigration system, increasing judicial capacity for asylum cases, and creating lawful pathways that reduce pressure at the border. Ultimately, what both parties avoid is accountability for a system that rewards conflict over compromise. The appropriations process is described as historically bipartisan, yet neither side fully explains why that cooperation has eroded or how to restore it. If politics were set aside, even briefly, there could be room for a hybrid approach, guaranteed funding for essential agencies paired with enforceable reform benchmarks. That kind of solution would require both Republicans and Democrats to concede ground, not as a loss, but as an investment in governance that actually serves the public rather than the next election cycle.